Hello and welcome to my shop, such as it is. My dad had a collection of tools like every suburban man did back in the day. Um, and he had among his tools one of these, a little hand plane. This is a Stanley 110. The one my dad had was probably a Craftsman because everything he owned was Craftsman. That's what you bought back then, including the ubiquitous radial arm saw that every suburban man had. Um, and I knew what these were supposed to do. And I had tried using it many times, and I just couldn't get it to work right. The blade would chatter, or it wouldn't bite, or it would dig too deep. I could never get it to work right. Knowing my dad, he probably didn't have it tuned up correctly, but in all fairness, I had no idea what I was doing, I'm sure. So, flash forward many years to now that I'm starting my woodworking journey. And what kind of kicked off that journey was figuring out how to do a really proper, sharp 90-degree cut, which is something that had eluded me for years. It felt like I had just sort of come to accept the fact that everything I built was going to be a little bit crooked. And then I made something that wasn't. And that got me started on this whole journey. And then I ran up against hand planes. And unlocking the mystery of the hand plane seemed like a real achievement that I wanted to go for. It had a certain amount of significance to it. And so I grabbed a cheap Spear and Johnson number 5 off Amazon for like 25 bucks. And I started messing around with it, trying to get it to work right. And it took a lot of work, and I watched a ton of videos, and I spent a lot of time lapping the bottom of the tool. I see a little bit of surface rust. I need to oil this. Spent a lot of time lapping the bottom of it. Watched a lot of videos, and that got really, really frustrating. But eventually, I unlocked the secret, whatever it was, and I got it cutting properly. I went with this at first because I didn't want to risk trashing a vintage plane. But after that, I did pick up a Stanley Bailey number 5. This is type 15. This is 1932-33, I think was the production years on this. And boy, howdy, this took a lot of work because it's in rough shape. It's still not finished. You can see I still have to repair the tote. I'm probably just going to make a whole new one because that one's chipped really badly. But I got this working. And I love, it just felt like a real achievement to do this. And I love working with these now. Like, in fact, now I even figured out how to use the little block plane. And I grab this all the time. If I need to chamfer an edge or just smooth something down really quick, instead of cracking out the router and making a mess and having noise and sawdust everywhere, I grab this, a couple quick passes, and I'm done. And then back on the shelf it goes. And I realized that the 110 is like the cheapest, crappiest Stanley you could possibly buy. Man, it works for me. And that makes me really happy. So that's been a really enjoyable journey. And somewhere along the way, I seem to have become obsessed with taking crappy planes and making them work. Spear and Johnson were sort of the first step on that. This one was a lot rougher than the number 3 that I picked up. This is a 5, I think. This is a 3, I think. Yeah. So 5, this is a 3. The 3 was better than the 5. The 5 took a lot of work. The milling on the frog was awful. Just awful. And I had to spend a lot of time filing it flat. But I got these working. And then I got that working. And then I got the number 3 Spear and Jackson, which was a lot better. Basically, all I did with this is I lapped the bottom, sharpened the blade, and off we went. It was working. Then I picked up this absolute abomination from Walmart, of all places. I actually paid more than I paid for either Spear and Jackson. And this thing is absolute garbage. just raw garbage from start to finish. I don't even know what, I don't think I can even get it working, to be quite honest. When I go to tighten down, look at this. Look at this. I go to tighten that down and look how that screw just shifts off to the side. This is so poorly manufactured. I may take a shot at throwing this, converting this into a scrub plane. Because that doesn't require the relative precision that a jointer or a bench plane. Put that in there backwards. Nope, that's in there right. It doesn't require, a scrub plane doesn't require the kind of precision that other planes do, is what I'm saying. If I can't make that into a scrub plane, I have no idea what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll just harvest the handle off of it. In that same vein, I decided to try out some cheap spoke shaves, and I have fallen in love with these. Having a good spoke shave and just kind of shaping away at a piece of wood, it just, there's something about it that just feels good. It just feels good. And with those spoke shaves came this little wood block plane. I have no idea if I'm even going to work with that. But as I was saying, I seem to have become obsessed with taking crappy tools and making them work. So all I have to say now is challenge accepted.